Jump Ship might just be the game I'm most excited for right now, and that's saying something with the current lineup of PC titles that are on the way. Hello, ladies and gents. Jump Ship is the unholy love child of Pulsar, mixed with Void Crew and a little bit of Sea of Thieves, and as many of us probably imagine Star Citizen's boarding combat would be like if the game could keep a gameplay loop functional for more than just one patch. Ugh, that was uncalled for and a little below the belt. I'm not bitter. Okay, let's be nicer to Star Citizen. How about Star Trek Online's boarding actions when it was first announced? Yeah, some of you are probably old enough to remember that game in development. Does anybody remember the ground combat in that game when it first came out before they totally replaced it? In a nutshell, it wasn't good. Anyway, the more I see, the more I want to play Jump Ship so bad, and I'm really jealous that the other YouTubers have had a chance to dive in. It's designed around cooperative gameplay from the ground up, which is totally my jam. Bring your friends on a space adventure, choose your ship, very much like Pulsar's gameplay loop, and then off you go. What sets it apart for me is that smoothness in the gameplay. Look at that just gunplay. Like the first hour of Sea of Thieves, being amazed at how well this multiplayer seems to just work and interact with the environment around it, and having your crew run around a ship grid while other ships with walkable grids fly around blasting at you is really hard to pull off. There aren't very many. Like, think about it. How many games actually have that? Not many. The first one that I remember being would probably be Star Wars Galaxies with multi-crewed, and that game didn't have a jump button. Now, sadly, it doesn't seem like we're going to get any kind of crew customization in the way of, hey, I'm the captain, or the gunner, or the science officer, or engineer, loadmaster, bartender, whatever. You're able to run around the ship, firing off shoulder-mounted tracking missiles, repairing fires, cleaning up radiation, eventually going on away missions, which seems like some kind of dungeon raids for gear and equipment for your ship. Pretty gorgeous. My biggest question is about progression and context, which is kinda what I ask about almost every game I play that's multiplayer these days. You see, I'm at old wizard man age of gaming, and I like my games to have greater context other than just a gameplay loop that cycles over and over again. Is it me, or is Shaq starting to resemble Gandalf more and more? This was problematic when we played Skyrim too. Tell me, why am I in this match? What's the goal? Give me a story, damn it. Or at least fake it till you make it. Just look at Helldivers. They got a great pseudo story when all we're really doing is pushing a loading bar 0.000000002% closer to filling up. We might not have.
What about the samples?
Do you want to like murder him? Thanks.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to be too bothered.
I got it.
I have to heat up my gun to melt.
I don't.
The slow
that
turd.
thing just popped in.
But that's okay, because at least it gives us some fun context for our actions in a greater universe. And people are loving to tell those stories. It's like people are using their imaginations again. Hot damn. From what I gather, we won't be keeping upgrades between runs, and we don't have progression for characters on release, so what's the spice? Even with that missing, damn, the multi-crew combat is looking good. I mean, just check this out. Flying off one ship to another is fun no matter what game that mechanic has been involved in. Even Atlas, that Ark-style pirate game that we had tons of fun in as a community, that had basic grappling hook mechanics and ships that could sail next to each other and roll around, and that was a blast. We ran a multiplayer server back in the day because it had a cool system where you could host basically separate servers and then connect them at loading points where the ships could sail from one server into the next. The only problem was that the devs kept updating it, which kept breaking it, but we still have a dedicated small group that keeps modding and running seasons in that game over in Armco. Boys, she looks like she's outmaneuvering you.
We can't turn when the gun ports are open.
The endurance is...
What is Jackie? Shoot him with your cannon, Jack. Shoot him before you sink, bro. Go on, get him. Yeah! Now fucking get out of there. Run.
So what's the hook for Jump Ship after like 3 months or so? That's what I want to know. What are you guys doing? The systems are all here to really support something cool, from loot and inventory to pretty good looking ship combat that really gives me an Everspace 2 vibe for those who remember. I feel like I'm the only person who played and really enjoyed that game. I still recommend it. It's third person and arcadey with a solid feel of speed and maneuverability. that's part Top Gun, and yet they keep the mass feeling, the heavy feeling of these larger ships, which it looks like Jump Ship does too, making the multi-crew ship feel heavier than a starfighter from like Squadrons. Something we have endlessly tried to make work with mods and maps and Space Engineers for years, getting that balance down for multi-crew, and only had minimal success for tons of effort. The three levers of multi-crew space game balance seems to be, if the ship has lots of customization and player expression, it's probably gonna be jank as hell experience in actual play. Looking at you, Space Engineers. If the game has fairly deep gameplay and progression, it's probably gonna look like it was rendered on a Super Nintendo your sister spilled orange juice on while you're playing Mario Paint in the 90s. And that was a very specific example. And if the game looks great and promises all the functionality you could ever want, it'll probably have made millions on Kickstarter and barely function 20 years later. Oh man, I am just brutal to that game today. Let's talk about world space. The ice fields look gorgeous, the space bunkers look really cool. It's looking good and makes me wonder what we'll see as the game gets further developed. Small group co-op titles are super hot right now, which is great for me because I freaking love these style games, everything from EDF to, of course, Helldivers and Helldivers 1, which I recommend if you've never played it. It's a good time, get your friends. It's very different from a top-down perspective, and it's got tanks in it. Anyway, have I missed out on any other multi-crewed space games, right? And don't say Starship Simulator, that's not out yet, though it does look really cool. I love the simulator vibe of those style games, right? Bridge Commander, that kind of vibe. I would love to see a bit more of a mix between the two, right? Really get into the simulation side of things and open up the world space. News has been dropping faster than I've been able to keep up, and you guys have dumped a ton of new RTS games on me that I didn't know were on the way, so expect a follow-up to those, including a Homeworld-inspired video that I'm in the middle of working on, because there's a ton of space, sandbox, like 3D fighting RTS titles that are really like, hey, Homeworld 3 kind of sucked, so we're gonna take that back and make it again. A lot of cool stuff on the horizon. Hell, we're making a game right now. Free Company is currently being played. We've got 2 campaigns going and a bunch more about to start. It is free. Join us over on Armco. It's a bunch of people having fun on the internet, playing a war game, tabletop one. All right, thanks for hanging out. Take care. Bye-bye now.